And we are live at Dell Technologies World with HYCU. Simon, how are you?
Evan, doing great. Great to be here and great to see you again, my friend.
Well, great to see you in action in your partnership, all this innovation with Dell. Maybe describe some of the work you're doing with Dell, and also how do you describe HYCU these days? You've been busy.
We've been very busy. It's great to be back with our good friends at Dell. As you know, we are already on the ETC price list, which has been phenomenal for us. It's allowed us to engage with Dell customers and partners around the planet. Today, we've got 4,800 customers in 76 countries, and we are growing stronger than ever before. But the big change, the big watershed moment for HYCU this year is, of course, the launch of what we're calling HYCU Air, HYCU's AI resiliency platform. HYCU is going from being the SaaS player with 106 different SaaS applications protected to the world's #1 leader in AI resiliency. Because what we've realized is that all of this agent deployment is changing the game when it comes to services of record. People need to be able to do more than just back up and recover their data. They need to be able to leverage the data they have within those SaaS platforms and protect it at machine speed. And that's exactly what HYCU is here to do.
Fantastic. And talk about the problems that HYCU Air is solving that traditional backup or data protection tools aren't addressing well.
Yeah. I was talking to my 13-year-old son the other day about exactly this, and he kept saying to me, Simon, Dad, I don't understand. What do you guys do? And I said, think of it like this. We're sitting at a table, and there's a camera over the table, a security camera, and somebody sticks some gum under the table. Well, if there is a security guard watching the camera and watching the monitor at that moment, they're going to catch it. But if that gum was stuck there a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, or even, God help us, 2 decades ago, well, unless you've got the backup tapes, you're never going to know who committed the crime. And that's the major problem that HYCU Air solves. We realized the single most powerful and valuable asset today is not the LLM. The LLMs are commoditized. They're all essentially doing the same thing with incremental leaps. It's actually the data sets themselves that represent a gold mine when it comes to actual levels of value. So, and it's said very differently, the more custom and unique your data set is, the more valuable it should be to you and your company. So HYCU, realizing this, understood that we've been protecting 106 different applications that nobody else in the world is protecting out there. So what we did is we added a knowledge graph and a context engine, put an LLM on top of that, and called it HYCU Air so that in natural language, you can now speak to your backup data. So
Wow.
it's unbelievable. The first time the guy showed it to me, I said, this can't be real. How did you build this? And the answer, of course, is AI. But the answer is also we've spent 9 years building the world's most comprehensive data set on planet Earth. And so when you put AI on top of that, you've got something very special indeed. Now, Evan, you asked me what problems we're actually solving with all that great information. And I'll tell you, you could solve so many problems. It's a vast universe. But what we are focusing on here with HYCU Air is cyber intelligence. And I would break that down into 3 different ways. One, security posture management. With all these agents running amok, with all these different apps and databases, with data silo sprawl going on, who the heck knows where your data is and what's happening to it? Well, you can actually go in natural language and say, who is misbehaving with their data? Who is acting out of policy? Is there policy drift? Use case number 2, you can go in and look at data classification. You could say to it, who's got data they shouldn't have? Who's got social security numbers and personally identifiable information sitting on a laptop? It's all there. The records are all there in the backups. We just couldn't ask for them until today. And so I think, HYCU Air is a watershed moment in the world of data protection. It's a watershed moment in the world of cybersecurity. We've even built a customizable agent guard so that you can add additional agents that will allow you to ask your own questions and derive your unique value from the actual platform. So the last thing I'll say, Evan, and this is super important, people have been backing up data for donkey's years, as my mother would say. And, they only did it for one reason, which was recovery. But recovery was never enough. We're taking data protection from the world of life insurance salesmen to the world of health insurance and healthcare. Because we're going to help you to take care of your business. We're going to stop making you pay just for the recovery you're going to get all of this unique value with the data you back up, all as a part of being a HYCU customer. So it truly is a very, very exciting time for us. And as always, I'm just thrilled to share it with you.
Fantastic. And what's been the feedback from customers and from your partnership at Dell? What's the demand been like?
I was in Minneapolis with Dell last week at their cloud field days. And I got up in front of about 100 customers and partners, and they literally let out a cheer when I said, do more with your backup data. Because, people have been paying for this stuff forever, and it was always just about the recovery. The idea that they can now extract all this additional incremental value that will keep them and their companies safe, it was a game changer. So the response has been incredible. We've had 100 companies in the Global 2000 already added to our wait list. We've got 10 Fortune 500 companies who have already tried it out and are using it. By the end of this year, we believe this will be about 25% of HYCU's revenue overall. I mean, the demand is that drastic. We're seeing AI levels of growth attached purely to the HYCU Air platform.
That is fantastic. And, customers are still struggling with a SaaS sprawl and cloud complexity. I assume this might help given the integration challenges in the enterprise.
Well, Evan, you'll remember I wrote that book, Averting the SaaS Data Apocalypse a couple of years ago. And of course, we didn't avert it at all. We went deeper and deeper, and we've actually put it on steroids with AI. And so I think what customers are rightly asking for is to get more from their data protection. Recovery is great, but they want to know in advance, proactively, where is the next attack coming from? Where are the risks in my business? How can I make sure that I'm making the right business and cyber decisions to protect my employees and our customers? And so I think by adding this HYCU Air layer on top of your backup and recovery, it's a game changer. It really is a watershed moment. And the last thing I'll say is, a lot of people come to me and they say, Simon, this is great. Are you worried about your competitors and so on and so forth? And I say to them, look, what we are constructing is effectively the brain of an organization. If you imagine a human brain and then imagine that every area of that brain is a different SaaS service or cloud service, that comprises the entirety of the corporate memory bank of an organization. Well, if you try to do that with just your on-prem file data, you're going to be, let's say, at a loss to remember all of the key insights that HYCU Air is giving you. So this is building on the 106 different backup services that we spent the last decade constructing. And now we're going to give our customers 1,000 times the level of value with AI.
Fantastic. So how can customers, partners, developers start taking advantage of HYCU Air, and when can they start taking advantage? What's the timeline?
We're here showing it off at Dell Tech World in Las Vegas today. What I'd recommend for all customers and partners and new prospects, jump on to www.hycu.com. That's www.hycu.com. Join the wait list, get activated, take a look at this thing, and find out how to make your backups do more for you.
Well, that's kind of a mic drop moment, and I know you're a busy man. I think I'd love to check in maybe after the show and get a final update and perspective. How's the energy this week? And we've got a day or two left. What else is on your mind?
We are shaking and grooving over here in Las Vegas. I'll tell you, Evan. We come every year with Dell, and we love it. But I would say that the energy around AI and cybersecurity has never been stronger. I think we've gone from a world of sort of naive exploration to careful adoption. And I think in a world of careful adoption, what cybersecurity risk professionals and CIOs are trying to do is make sure that they get their arms around sort of the entirety of their AI estate. And they want to understand what are the right practices, the right tools. We're all learning this together. We're in the middle of a revolution. And, we're very, very proud at HYCU to be helping to build a safer world with the HYCU Air platform.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations again on all the success, important work, and onwards and upwards. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Evan. Great to be here. Take care.
And thanks, everyone, for listening, watching, and we'll be in touch again soon. Take care.